Hello, hi, Assalamu alaikum, howdy, Texas, Ji Ayanu, Khush Amdeed. These are the different greetings of our program, Election 2020, America, land of so many cultures, religions, ethnic backgrounds, which makes us strong and the strongest nation on the face of earth. Little introduction in Urdu for Urdu audience. Election 2020 का प्रोग्राम इसलिए आपके पास लाया जाता है कि ये एक नॉन पार्टीशन प्रोग्राम है। इसमें आप अपने वो लोग जो कि इलेक्शन के थ्रू आपके लीडर्स बनना चाहते हैं 2020 के लिए, स्पेशली लोकल लेवल पे, कांग्रेशनल लेवल पे, उनसे अपने सवालात कर सकें, हमें सवालात भेज सकें, आपको एक मौका मिले उनके आइडियाज़, उनके गोल्स, उनके मोटिव सुनने का, और उसके साथ साथ आप उनसे ये सवाल कर सकें कि वाई दिस पर्सन एंड नॉट अनदर लीडर, कि क्यों वो और कोई और नहीं. So we'll go with the program. We have with us Derek Reed for Congressional District 22 and Mr. Naeem Raja. He is one of the board of directors and one of the executive member of CAPSA, Coalition of Americans for Political and Social Awareness. Derek Reed is here, Congressional District 22. I believe you are going to be hopefully representative or hopefully not representative, which way comes, right, after election 2020.
Yeah.
So Derek, tell us a little bit about your day. How did it go?
It's been going pretty well. It's been going pretty well. It's been busy.
It's been busy.
Yes.
And what energizes you every day?
My kids.
Kids. Tell us about them a little bit. We want to have this family perspective since all of us have kids.
My kids are 7 and 9. My daughter is 9 years old. My son's 7. He's in the 2nd grade. My daughter is in the 4th grade. And they're just always full of energy. And so, you know, they were keeping me up last night, got me up this morning. And so I've been with them pretty much, you know, all day today, and got to go back and pick them up after I leave here.
Naeem, what motivates you to be so involved in the political atmosphere at the grassroots level?
As a matter of fact, when I studied in school, I've been involved since my high school. And then when I came to US, I saw that people were, if you are involved in the politics on a grassroots level, you will be connected better and you will understand what your community and you are facing day to day. So that's why it got me involved, and now I meet candidates every day, from both parties. So I get what exactly our community needs and how we can have a better relationship with politicians and how can we get our problem and issues, you know, and concerns addressed.
Daily challenges, ladies and gentlemen, and in Urdu, रोज़मर्रा की मुश्किलात, challenges जो हमें फेस आते हैं, उनको हम कैसे इन पॉलिटिकल एटमॉस्फेयर के अंदर जो कि आजकल मौजूद है, इसके अंदर कैसे फेस कर सकते हैं. नॉन पार्टीशन प्रोग्राम है TVOne USA पे इलेक्शन 2020 के हवाले से. We want to go into questions. Derek already have some questions before we start the program, so we're going to continue on that. Folks have a lot of questions about your political affiliation. If you're a Republican, if you're a Democrat, so tell us about your political affiliation with the party, which political party you are affiliated with.
I am a Democrat. I've never said I was a Republican, never been a Republican. I am a Democrat. Never supported this administration, this president, never voted for this president. I think that's something that my opponents have passed around, and that's really the only thing that they can. I'm the only person in my race that has a proven record, that's already served, that's already been elected in this district, and has been serving for the past 4.5 years. And so since there's nothing else on me that, you know, my opponents can find, why not say, oh, he is a Republican and not a Democrat? That's the only thing that they can possibly say, and it's not true.
And TVOne USA don't have really any opinion, but personally, you know, everyone have their own political standing. What are some of the things they're using to propagate this propaganda? And you said that you are a Democrat, and that's good enough for your voters, I believe. Mm-hmm. But what are some of the rumors they're using to prove their point?
I don't know that it's necessarily proving their point. You know, I guess some of the not rumor, but one of the things that they're using is how I voted in the primary. of 2016. I actually voted against President Trump in 2016. I saw him gaining ground. Myself and a lot of friends of mine saw him gaining ground. We figured if we voted against him in that primary, that he would lose Texas and lose the Republican nomination. But now you see where we're at. And so, you know, it didn't work. But ultimately, you know, that's I guess that's what they would use to
so Derek Reed is a Democrat. He is running in District 22, Congressional District. I believe a lot of other folks are running in that district as well for a Democratic nomination, per se. So, of course, if you're running for a Democratic nomination, me being the precinct chair, also in one of the political parties, knowing the process, that when you run for the nomination of the party, that's where your loyalty belongs to. Derek, today's program, we're going to dedicate last 5 minutes for those of the community members from the Muslim American community who have passed away and who have contributed towards the society. We will talk about a gentleman named Mashtaq Artani who have passed away a little bit. We will also talk about a gentleman who have passed away, Tahir As-Safi. He was the director of Islamic Society of Greater Houston. You know, Brother Artani was a donor to the society and a very involved member, and may God bless both of their souls. But we will a little bit dedicate the time towards them. But what do you say to those community members in different communities who are so dedicated that they support the communities financially, politically, and with their service? How do you see them, those everyday heroes in your community and within the Democratic Party?
I mean, you know, I can do nothing but give them praise. I mean, for dedicating themselves to the community, anyone that dedicates themselves to their community as a whole, communities that surround them. I mean, they deserve, you know, that praise. Like you said, you know, the two gentlemen that you mentioned, they gave their lives to making sure that their community was better. And so, you know, I definitely, you know, appreciate what they've done. I don't know what they've done, but in my community, I appreciate. In general, you know, can do nothing but appreciate anyone that gives back like that, whether it be money, whether it be time especially. You know, that's a sacrifice. So
that's a sacrifice. Derek, you know, politically now we are in a very divided time of our nation. We have erected the long forgotten walls of racism, discrimination, white, black, Hispanic, all those things have come out. And now we have to face the 200-pound gorilla in the room. We can no longer not face this division within the community. What are some of the plans you have to bring these divided community segments back together to keep our country, you know, prosperous and keep on going towards the financial freedom and the opportunity for everyone?
And thanks for asking. And so you know, I think obviously that all starts from the top. You know, when this president first got into office, he initiated an anti-Muslim ban. I mean, that type of thing would completely be gone when I get to Congress. I would definitely act and put forth every effort to ensure that, one, this district is coming together. I think the first way to do that is to start having town hall meetings. We haven't had a town hall meeting in this district in, gosh, 4 years. When you bring people together in different parts of the district, then you start to see, you know, everyone has genuine concerns. They have similar concerns, right? The town hall meetings will be definitely once a quarter throughout the district, different parts of the district. But I think that's where it starts, is just bringing people together, getting rid of the rhetoric that comes from Washington, making people actually see me, you know, and know me. If you don't know who you represent or who your representative is, you don't have any trust in them, right? And so those are some of the things that I think will help.
So trust deficit, ladies and gentlemen, and I will actually explain what you just said in Urdu for those audience who are sitting at their home. उर्दू में अगर थोड़ी सी बात करते हैं कि डेरेक से मेरा सवाल था, डेरेक ये जो इस वक्त डिवीजन है अभी हमारे मुल्क के अंदर, ब्लैक्स हैं, वाइट्स हैं, हिस्पैनिक्स हैं, ये जो ज़माना जाहिलियत की दीवारें इरेक्ट कर दी गई हैं फ्रॉम द टाइम ऑफ इग्नोरेंस, इसके बारे में आप क्या करेंगे? तो डेरेक का जवाब ये है कि सबसे पहले अटमोस्ट मेरी ये कोशिश होगी कि टाउन हॉल मीटिंग्स हों जिसमें सारी कम्युनिटीज़ आएँ और कैसे हम एक दूसरे को एज ए इंसान देखना शुरू करें। उन्होंने मिसाल दी इस्लामोफोबिक अप्रोच की, जो कि इस्लामोफोबिया फैलाया गया गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से, जो मुसलमानों को खाम खा उनकी सारी जो कुर्बानियाँ हैं हमारे मुल्क के लिए उनको पस मंज़र रखते हुए एक फ़जूल किस्म की मेंटालिटी जो एवॉल्व की गई, और ग्रास रूट लेवल पे उसके लिए डायरेक्ट ने कहा है कि इफ़ ही इज़ इलेक्टेड एज ए कांग्रेसमैन ही इज़ गोना वर्क, ये उस पर काम करेंगे ताकि कैसे डिवीजन जो कम्युनिटीज़ के अंदर है उसको मिनिमाइज़ किया जा सके, ताकि हमारा मुल्क जैसे स्ट्रांग था, ताकतवर था, वैसे ही हम आगे बढ़ सकें। और इसी को वी गोना कंटिन्यू विद नईम राजा with the same question. Naeem, what do you see from being a member of, having the origin within the Pakistani community? How is Pakistani community in general seeing all this division being created, and what are some of the fears that you might see in the community right now and concerns?
I think the basic thing is what kind of environment has been created. It's a very charged political environment where racism is at the height. They are dividing communities. The relationship between the race relationships are getting, poor and poor and going really, I should say that they are not improving as it should be. It's basically people are not expecting what they were thinking, that when Trump will come, they will have better attitude towards the race relationship. But the day he started running for his campaign very first time, he was very, racist, and he talked about Afro-American, he talked about Muslims, and when you see Muslims are worried after he put the ban on Muslims, 6-7 countries, and then it was going to increase. Democrats have put stop to it, but there's a lot more work need to be done, and Muslim community need to get his trust back. How they have been, right now we are seeing that Muslim community is very concerned.
Trust is one thing.
Yeah, it's
here is one question, Derek, on my phone for you. I think folks are using all kind of resources to reach out to you. You have seen recent, and this is really correlating to our conversation from the previous question. You have seen folks, what is your overall perspective of the at-large Muslim community? And mind you, Muslim community does not come from one ethnic background. We have Arabs, we have Pakistanis, we have folks from India, Bhutan, Iran, Turkey, you name it. Yeah. There's so many countries in the world, Africa. Yeah. So I'm glad you mentioned that. And there's history of Muslims within the United States, Native American tribes as well. Mm-hmm. So how do you see, as a politician, another Muslim American?
I mean, I don't see a Muslim American any different than I see Gerard over there. I mean, I don't see any difference. I mean, your religion is your religion, and that's no reason to see you different, to see anyone different. My religion is my religion. At the end of the day, you're a part of this society, a part of this country, and and that's what comes first, right? You have a family. We all are people. And so, human rights is first and foremost. A person's religion, person's gender, person's choice, that has nothing to do, no bearing on the way that I serve them.
What differentiates you than the other? And before you answer that question, let's talk to the scholar. Hi, you are on air with Election 2020.
Yeah, I have a very small question regarding the Fort Bend County or Sugar County. They are increasing taxes every year without giving us any health facility. Is it possible you can do it something for us? Because every year too much taxes. Mm-hmm. Like in Harris County, they have a big hospital, but we don't have any hospital in Sugar Land or Fort Bend County except the private hospital. They are just taking all our money. Without insurance, you can't go there.
So, question is, yes, we are raising taxes, and we are not giving any hospitals, or, based on those tax dollars are not really being utilized at the grassroots level. We are collecting them from the grassroots level, but we are not spending them at the grassroots level, because everyone gets sick, everyone gets hungry, everyone gets, all kind of needs there for the society. So what is the plan for your office when you're elected to kind of give back to the grassroots level folks a little bit more than what they're getting now?
So with respect to the hospital.
And this question came actually during the last program too, if you remember.
Yes, and I kind of addressed it during the last program, but to answer the caller's question, ultimately, I will definitely make sure that I work with local and state officials to get a hospital, a county hospital, on this side of the district, essentially the Sugar Land area.
How does the county hospital works differently? Tell our viewers than a regular hospital, like any brand name hospital which is out there.
So the way that it works in Harris County, there's a few county hospitals, Bentab, LBJ, but they have good doctors and they provide care, but they will provide care for those that may not be able to afford care, may not have health care in general. Obviously, health care is a huge issue, one of my issues, with my campaign.
And we want to continue on the healthcare subject, Derek, right after a short break. In the world of media, break is a necessity. We'll see you in a little after break, maybe within a minute or two. Welcome back to Election 2020 with me, with Naeem Raja and Derek. Derek, we'll pick up from where we started, but before that, we'll take the caller. Assalamu alaikum. You are on Election 2020 Live. Please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
I'm looking here directly, and your program is a very good addition. I lived in Portland County. Okay, my question is, can you candidate Derek Lee is running for District 22, which is the most diverse district in whole USA. As he knows, there are all the communities here, especially Asians, are growing population. So he has some special agenda how to involve and engage all communities in District 22.
Okay. So, question, Derek, there was a little bit reception issue there, but I think I heard the caller right. What is the plan? What is the agenda? You are running for a district which is extremely, diverse, right? So, what are the plans of your team, of your office, even now and in the future, to engage all those communities?
So one of the ideas that we have, and thank you for asking that question, and thank you, caller, as well, is to get a sect of each one of the communities that are represented, which is a lot, and put them together as a panel to advise me whenever I need to know, not whenever, but I always will need to know what the concerns are of the community, right? So specifically, if it's the Pakistani community, if it's the African community, if it's the Asian community, the black community, white community, Hispanic community, Indian community, whatever community, every community actually is represented in this district, putting together a panel of people that can advise me, can let me know what the needs are of the community. I think that's the best way to hear from the people.
So you want to approach to hear from the mouth of folks what they need.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So caller ka jawab Urdu mein main bata दूं, translation in Urdu for the caller and everyone else is कि आप कैसे इंगेज करेंगे बाकी कम्युनिटीज़ को, जो आपका डिस्ट्रिक्ट है वो इतना डाइवर्स है, इतनी कम्युनिटीज़ है उसमें। तो डायरेक्ट का जवाब ये है कि मैं एक पैनल बनाऊंगा इन सब कम्युनिटी के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव से, और वो रिप्रेजेंटेटिव जो कि काफ़ी अरसे से शायद पॉलिटिकल स्फेयर पे हैं, मैं भी बेसिकली उनका नहीं बल्कि यंग लोगों का, बाकी लोगों का एक पैनल बना के, एंड लेट्स हियर फ्रॉम देम from this panel what's needed for their community, and I think it's a very good approach, Derek. So continuing on our conversation before we went on break about the hospital and about the county hospital, and go ahead and complete your thoughts on that.
So not having a county hospital means that the folks in our community, in this district, the senior citizens that are on fixed income or the low income, they don't have access to health care when needed. In Harris County, they have a thing called the Gold Card, where if you can't afford health care, you can go use this Gold Card at county hospitals.
And hold that thought. We want to continue from the Gold Card and how you plan on working with others within the county. Let's talk to the scholar real quick. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, you're on air, Election 2020.
Yes, my question is for Mr. Reid. This is Mr. Chowdhury. and I represent my community as the immigration attorney in Houston. My question is that as an attorney yourself, Mr. Reed must be familiar with our community and its involvement in journal, in the journal body language. So what do you think from knowing the community before standing for this election and now, when knowing them better, getting more involvement in our community, what is the difference you have noted in your opinion?
Ms. Pachaudhry, a renowned attorney, thank you for joining our call. Ms. Pachaudhry, we really appreciate you coming online. Ms. Pachaudhry is one of the colleagues of you. नाज़रीन का क्वेश्चन है कि डेरिक रीड ने अब ये कम्युनिटी को ज़्यादा जानते हैं, इनको ओपिनियन कैसे चेंज हुआ? How has your opinion evolved about Ms. Pachaudhry's community and our community since you've been involved in election process now?
I guess it never was in a bad state, and so as far as evolved, I'm learning more. I've definitely learned more from even being on this show. Learned more from just different interactions, from talking to people in the community.
Anything you've learned new that you want to share with us?
So I don't want to try. I don't want to.
You can
butcher.
try.
No. I don't want to butcher any words. But no. I mean, there's not like a whole lot that's different. And I guess one of my associates with my law firm is Muslim.
What's his name?
She speaks Urdu.
Okay,
yes.
what's her name?
And Ghazal Bahura.
Ghazal, okay.
Yeah, and so she's taught me a lot even before me getting into
Tell
this
us one
race.
of the things. We'll help you.
Well, I didn't know what Eid Mubarak was. I didn't know.
Eid Mubarak, you didn't know that? Okay.
No, I didn't know. I knew what fasting was, and I knew how often it came around. But there were different things I didn't know about a woman being able to skip certain parts of fasting and then maybe come back and finish.
You learned a lot there.
So I mean, so I didn't know. And then also, last show we talked about tea and the time on Sundays, and so that's something that I didn't know. But I'm.
And our last show was around 4 o'clock, I believe. Right? Was it during that time?
Yeah, it was around 4 o'clock.
It was in the evening time.
But it was last month.
Yeah, it was last month, and that was tea time.
Yeah.
So that's good. So now you have tea time. That's amazing. So thank you, Ms. Bao, for your question. I really appreciate that. And thanks for actually evolving that understanding. Going back to the conversation that you were having about the Harris County comparison of the health facilities and stuff like that. So how do you plan on incorporating, and what type of experience you have in the past, dealing with the county level government?
So, as a council member for Pearland, there's a lot of I don't want to say negotiating, but a lot of talks that you have to have, a lot of sit-downs that you have to have with different levels of government, state level, federal level, to get things done. I've done that before. Specifically, 288, for instance, it runs in the middle of Pearland, and so it's under construction right now. But there were a lot of talks that had to be had between local government, city council, and the county commissioners from Harris County and Brazoria County, both combined. And so, as far as working to make sure a hospital gets built, I mentioned earlier that I would work with local and state level officials to get something in this district. Something is needed within Fort Bend County specifically, a county hospital that is accessible, that allows low income, anybody actually, but specifically low income or our seniors that are on fixed incomes, to have access to good health care. I was at the clinic, not the clinic, but at the pharmacy last week. I had to pick up medicine for myself, and the medicine was $160.
Wow.
And so
that was the detectable part.
Yeah, exactly. And I have insurance, and so that's one of the things that my campaign is definitely going to address, that I will address as a congressman when I get to Congress, is the unaffordable cost of health care, our prescription drugs. I mean, it's ridiculous, and it's not allowing us to actually maintain the lifestyles that we need to maintain, but at the same time receive health care. Mr.
Naeem and Derek, changing the gears a little bit, since you spoke about the prescription. Pollution in Houston, in Pearland, in Sugarland, I can't even comprehend to tell you how it has personally affected my own life in my family. And of course, some of the folks had to go on inhaler because I live close to Hobby Airport area within the Houston, which is pretty close to Pearland, right?
Yeah.
So inhalers are in the industry. I have to pick up for one of the family member, and my personal experience, you have to pay $75, something like that, depending on the inhaler you're getting. In addition to having the insurance, I have the prescription insurance, medical insurance, and all that. So we really appreciate a congressman who goes in Congress thinking of these issues, because you have to live it to deliver later on. But pollution is one of the nuisance I'm hearing everywhere I'm turning around. These sicknesses that we don't used to see, clusters of cancers within our city. What's your plan on that, Derek?
So climate control is a general issue across the country, and it's something that definitely needs to be addressed. It's something that I will be paying attention to, and will support legislation. Obviously, in Houston, we're here, near the port, and we have a lot of exactly.
It's an important aspect of our life. I mean, we want the port.
It is. It is. Yeah. We need the port. We have a lot of chemical plants though as well, near the port, and we have to maintain the way that our society functions, specifically with respect to Houston. The oil economy and just the different natural gases that are produced and that type of thing that produce.
And on that note, I want to talk to Mr. Naeem as a community member a little bit.
Okay.
Mr. Naeem, how important it is what's happening in regards to pollution to you, to your community, and these health crises that you see?
As a matter of fact, pollution is not actually one community issue, it is everybody's issue. Everyone is facing it. And when I was helping the Javed in District 29, they said the District 29 has highest level of cancer. Every
And you mind telling us where District 29 lies? I mean, I know we are in District 22, so we can kind of have an idea.
Actually, it's next to 22, almost next to it. If you go on the ship
in heavily refinery areas.
Heavily refinery area, and I see a lot of people was complaining that they don't have access to health care. They can't actually get to the hospital at the minimum time. They have to drive all the way from I should say Glenna Park to downtown, which takes a lot of time and because of the traffic and stuff. And I think the pollution needs to be addressed on every level.
And in regards to healthcare, you as a community member, are you satisfied with the level of healthcare you get from your insurance?
I have insurance, but I'm not satisfied because there's so much. I mean, I need to get a small, medication like Nexium, and with the insurance is $300.
Wow.
So why you need the insurance when you are paying $300 for this kind of,
So insurance regulation is the next subject, really, Derek, that we want to go into. But before we go into the insurance subject, every congressional candidate going in there have something which is so close and dear to their heart. What is that one aspect, or two aspects, or three aspects, or how many aspects you have which motivates you to go for Congress?
The biggest thing is listening and serving the people. I mean, that's always been near and dear to my heart. I've been a public servant since 2009. Starting off at the Harris County DA's office and then eventually to Pearland City Council. And so, as far as the issues that really concern me and concern our district and this community, healthcare is definitely one of them. I didn't receive health care, or I didn't have insurance until I got to undergrad, until I got to college. My mom had a gold card, but I didn't have real health care. I don't remember going to the dentist until undergrad. Criminal justice reform is another one. I've been on both sides of the law. As a youth, did something stupid and got in trouble. But then also as a prosecutor, and so I know.
So you saw both variants.
Both sides.
And we'll pick right back on that up why it is so important to live it, to tell about it. We'll take a short break, and after the break, stay with us. Election 2020, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Election 2020, खुश आमदेद, जी आया नू, आपसे फिर मुलाकात हुई. लास्ट सेगमेंट है, आखिरी सेगमेंट है, और इस सेगमेंट में हम 3 सेगमेंट्स होंगे, डायरेक्ट से बात करेंगे नईम साहब से, और कंक्लूजन में अपने कम्युनिटी मेंबर्स को एक्नॉलेज करेंगे, उनकी सर्विसेज को, a moment of silence and a prayer for them at the end of the program. Derek, picking back up, you were talking about the criminal justice system. Go ahead.
Yes, and specifically with respect to criminal justice reform, you know, my mother was part of the system. She, throughout my life, before her passing, you know, had a drug issue that she dealt with, and it pretty much is what put her, what killed her. But
sorry to hear that.
No problem, no problem. But ultimately, you know, she did raise me, and she put me, or is responsible for who I am today. But the criminal justice system, like I said, I've been on both sides of the criminal justice system. She's also been part of that same system, and I know the discrepancies or the disproportionate sentences that are issued out throughout our country with regards to different crimes, different harmless crimes, meaning crimes that are not harming other people. With respect to maybe different drug crimes, I'm sorry. Cocaine, for instance, is a felony as opposed to a pill case, which is typically used by maybe more fortunate.
So rich and poor, disproportionality.
Yes, exactly.
That
rich and poor, disproportionate.
That is sad. And what would you do about that?
I mean, they need to be treated the same, but more than anything, both of them are an addiction. An addiction is a healthcare issue. It's not a criminal issue. It's not something someone should be locked up for. And so
if I was to say that crime committed and the sentence rendered for that, it really depends on the race and color and your financial background, will I be making the right statement?
The crime committed...
same crime is committed, you know, like same type of crime. You mentioned crack cocaine, you mentioned prescription drug abuse, right? One seems to be committed by not financially that blessed community, and other is maybe more financially stable community.
Yes.
But you're saying sentences are so different because of that?
Sentences are different because of that.
So that is alarming. And you've been a prosecutor, and you know, that is alarming. Going into the Congress, and before I go to the next question, Naeem Saab, CAPSA, Coalition of Americans for Political and Social Awareness. What is the end game? What is the goal? What are you bringing to the community as a contribution?
As a matter of fact, CAPSA's main goal is to create awareness about political and social issues, and what we have been involved on grassroots level. We are trying to actually meet candidates, bring them to community, and let candidates tell community what their platforms are and how can they help our community when they get elected.
So you're bridging the gaps.
Yes, we are bridging the gaps. And the other thing is we want to keep people informed what kind of, you know, social issues are there, at the same time how community need to learn to stand up against crime against humanity. I give you a small simple example of Kashmir. Kashmir has been a burning issue, and we have been trying to create awareness that how genocide is being committed, but nobody's...
And a lot of our elected officials didn't even know.
Yes, because a lot of elected officials, we are trying to actually, with our friends and experts, we go to different congressmen, we met Michael McCall's office, and we are meeting other local...
You're continuing to meet.
Yes.
During the break, you were telling me you want to ask a question to Derek. What is that?
That was actually, I want to ask you what you think of crime against humanity. I mean, how do you support people? I mean, being in a Congress member, you will be dealing with the crime against humanity on international level.
So let me rephrase the question, I guess. Inhumane treatment of humanity based on the political and geographical conflicts, how do you see that as a congressional candidate?
Yeah, that is...
How do I see the inhumane treatment of others?
Yes.
Others
in general.
I mean, that's definitely something that I'm against, and I think I mentioned it on the last time I was visiting with you, that, you know, the Kashmir issue, for instance, is definitely a huge human rights issue, and it's something that this country cannot turn its back on, and that we, you know, as congressmen and women have to make sure that we address any human rights issue ultimately. But
over 3 months of curfew.
Understand.
Yes.
Maybe over 4 months of curfew.
It's almost 4 months now.
A mom not being able to get the prescription drugs.
Yeah.
Kids can get...
Kids arrested and incarcerated so that the others cannot protest. military might at its fullest against the harmless, innocent, and people who cannot defend themselves. So that's what's going on, Mr. Derek. And some of the congressional colleagues from one side or the other side actually not only were mum about it, they made appearances to support that. What would you say to those colleagues?
That supported this?
Not, I wouldn't say they became partners in that, but those who are committing that, like Prime Minister Modi, he came to Houston, and during his visit to the United States, a lot of folks, sometimes you don't have to make a statement, you just show up. So what would you say to those who actually showed up for a photo op during when all this was going on and all the world was up in arms, what's happening in Kashmir and in regards to curfew?
And I definitely can't speak, I don't know what the conversations were with anyone that showed up.
What you would have said to the Prime Minister of India?
I would have asked him, does he not see, or has he recognized the human rights issue here? My congressional colleagues, the same thing. It would have been, we need to make sure that we're addressing this human rights issue. We need to make sure that we're addressing not the conflict, but the human rights issue and the treatment of people.
If and when elected, Derek, will you plan to visit land of Kashmir, the Valley of Kashmir?
If that's available to me, most definitely. I think that, and I think that that answer depends really on the committees that I'm on, and so. But if that's available as part of one of the committees that I'm on, and it would make sense for me, being from this diverse district, to be on a committee, foreign affairs, something that would allow me to visit, Kashmir and other countries that are represented in this district.
Goal in the end game, नाज़रीन, हमारे लिए ये है कि हमारा मुल्क, United States of America, our country, with its strength and might, we cannot afford to be a political side to oppression. Derek, हमने सवाल किया कि what would you do about being a political side in oppression? And आपने जवाब दिया कि ना सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं होगा, I will, if availed and if available to me, will keep it on my agenda to visit the land of Kashmir or any other land in which the human rights violations are happening. Human rights violation is one thing dear and close to everyone and all of us, and we just cannot turn the blind eye. Derek, you from being a representative of Black American community, do you still see discrimination against the Black community here in the United States in our corridors of power?
Yes, most definitely, without a doubt. I mean, I could give you many stories. Even when I first got elected in Pearland, I'll never forget. There's a couple stories that I could give you. I know we don't have time for it. Maybe next
segment we'll pick it up on there. But tell us.
Yes.
But tell us a little bit.
I love my city. I love this district. But it was very evident. When I first got elected in 2015, actually it was voting day. Me and my brother went into a Shipley's Donuts, and my brother told me, hey, look, you need to make sure that you pass out flyers to everybody in here. I mean, today's voting day, right? It's the last day. And so I went and did that while he was buying donuts. And I went up to a table, and there were 3 guys there. I passed them out, gave one to each of them. One of them looked at it, he balled it up. Another guy said, I'll never vote for,
quote unquote.
Yeah. And what gives you, the right to think that you can, can win?
And I will take this message in Urdu and English in our closing remarks. Yeah. You have any power statement you want to make before we close the program?
Yeah, I do, definitely, and thank you. I mean, I want to make sure that the viewers know and everybody listening knows that I am this district. I represent all parts of this district, meaning we talked about it being diverse, meaning culturally diverse, but it's also economically diverse. From where I come from, the way I grew up with a single mom who had drug issues, I've gone through all of the low-income things that you can think of. No lights, no food. I've been all of that. It's not something that I talk about. It's something that I am about and was about. I'm also a business owner. I'm a dad. My kids go to school in this district. And so I understand the different aspects socially, economically, of the people of this district. And that's what makes me the best person to represent the people of this district, not just one particular community, not just the black community or white community or any other specific community, everybody in this district. And so that's why I'm asking for the support of
and we wish you best of luck.
Thank you.
Derek said he have lived there so that he can tell the story. Derek said he have fasted so that he can prescribe a cure of the social injustice, economical injustice, and all the other issues which impact life of an average Delhi American. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the closure remarks of the program, in Urdu and English, I would like to acknowledge the services of late Mushtaq Artani, one of the Pakistani community member, Muslim community member of Houston, who passed away, and his funeral was yesterday. And we have a caller as well, I'm told. But I would like to take this moment for Brother Mushtaq Artani and send my condolences to Mr. Tamim Artani, who is his son, wife, and 4 daughters, and Asif and Shahid, his son-in-laws. Your father was a true trooper. Even before he died, he donated to the society approximately 4 to 5 acres of land to build a community center and a mosque there, a place of worship. And also like to acknowledge the contribution of the late Mr. Asafi. Tahir Asafi passed away, and he left us last week. May God bless both of their souls and give the patience for the grieving families to deal with this great loss. In regards to Brother Mushtaq Artani, there is a remembrance vigil tonight. There will be a gathering at Maryam Masjid in Sugarland area, so viewers are welcome to join that. After, I believe it's after Maghrib. It's around 5:30ish to 7:30. We have Fort Bend County Chair Cynthia. Before we do the closing remarks on this program with Derek for Election 2020, Ms. Cynthia, welcome on air.
Oh, hello. How are you? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ms. Cynthia. We missed you.
Well, thank you so much. I am attending a kickoff for one of our many candidates that we will have in the March primary. So that is why I couldn't be up there at the studio today. But I will come next time. How about that?
Well, we welcome you. You took the time to call, and welcome on show. Any parting thoughts? We are about to conclude our session for today. Any parting thoughts for us as the chair of our Fort Bend County Democratic Party?
Yes. I would like to remind everyone that we have several elections coming up. If you live in the city of Houston, that runoff is scheduled for Saturday, December 14th. And early voting will be in full December 2nd, that week. So those who are in the city of Houston, we ask that you go out and vote for Mayor Turner and the Democratic candidates for city council. And then in January, in Fort Bend, we will have the runoff race for Eliz Markowitz for House District 28.
Awesome
so news. we have a lot coming up. We want everybody to stay tuned and make sure they get out and vote.
All right, and our program is open, folks. If any county executive from either of the party would like to call in, you're welcome. Cynthia, any comments for Derek Reed? He's running for election 2020, Congressional District 22.
Yes, actually, we have 3 candidates running for Congressional District 22. We have Derek Reed, we have Diane Zamore, and we have Preston Kulkarni. Mm-hmm. And I don't take sides in primaries.
Of course.
So we wish them all well.
All right. True Democratic spirit there. Derek Reed in District 22. Cynthia, so much for being with us. We really appreciate you coming on the call.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And
all right.
All right. And control room was trying to tell me, I guess, something that I couldn't hear. You can repeat from control room what you... Okay. So, Derek Reed, we are in the last minute of program. And folks, City of Houston runoff. We don't endorse any candidates, but at the same time, we from TVOneUSA on Election 2020 request everyone to be part of the process. Come out and vote your conscience.
Your favorite.
And yes, Derek.
The early voting actually starts this Wednesday in the city of Houston, and then it ends and picks back up December 2nd. So November 27th is the first day of early voting.
And thank you for bringing that up. We need a congressional person who knows his dates. That's good. And Mr. Naim, if you don't mind posting all those dates on Facebook also through
Definitely.
CAPSA. Derek, thank you so much for coming to the program.
Thank you for
We'll do the concluding minute now. Ladies and gentlemen, election 2020 will determine the fate of our country, which direction we are taking. The walls of hatred erected, will they be, thrown down and demolished with the immense love of our community? Will we come beyond this hatred and division which has been infested in the power corridors of our country? Will we finally give up this rhetoric of division on the basis of ethnicity, religious background, and the community we belong to, our financial opportunity presented to all of us as Americans? Stay strong, stay with America. Election 2020, your host Muhammad Ali, Derek Reed, and Naim Raja says good evening to you, good afternoon to you, depending on where you are right now. God bless America, and God bless all over the world. God bless everyone. Thank you.